Yeah. Hi guys, I hope you can hear me. My name's Simeon, I'm from LettingHQ, and I'll be taking you through LettingCheck today and how to do an inventory. This is recorded, so if you mishear anything or I speak too quickly, there will be the opportunity to watch it again. I'll also be giving away a coupon code at the end, which will give you 50% off the first 2 months of LettingHQ. So stick around for that. Right, so we're going to start by logging into LettingCheck. And then I'm just going to take you through the main pages, product. And then we're going to go and do a check-in report, followed by a midterm inspection. And finally, as the tenant wants to move out, we'll do a checkout report as well. Okay, so if we click on inventories, we have a list of all of our reports in chronological order. On the right in green, we have the option to edit, whereas on the left, we can add an inventory. If we head over to properties, it's much the same. We have a list of all of our properties with the option to view, edit, add a property photo on the right, or to add a property on the left. We have a few more details with landlords and tenants, just a few more contact details like phone and email address. Let's go back to inventories, and let's start our first one. So we'll select a property and we'll call it a check-in. Now, the main reason that inventories are so important is that they protect your landlords from losing any money. They're often used as legal documents, so it's important that the report itself is very clear and descriptive. The inventory will also provide the letting agent and the landlord the detailed description of current conditions of the property throughout the tenancy. For now, we're not going to bother with a template. We're just going to go ahead and save the inventory. So now if we go into it, we can see we have the address. You can see that it's a check-in report. And this is basically just like a blank slate for now. Let's start by adding an entry. And we'll start by adding a bathroom. And we'll add a bath for our first item. And you can see that we can add conditions here. So we'll say it's in good condition with no damage. So the damage type is not applicable. And again, we can add things like fixtures and fittings. So let's add a few of these. As we go along, we need to put as much detail really as possible. It's important to add conditions so that if the tenant damages an item, it's very clear what condition it was in before. We find that it works best to work clockwise around a room when you're doing an inventory so that you don't miss any items. And once we've clicked save, that is added to the report. You can also add, if we go back into the item, we can add notes. So if there's something that we can't actually put down in the drop-down menus, we can add a note. And the reason that we use drop-down menus is for consistency. People might use different terms to explain the condition of something. So someone might say it's broken, someone might say it's chipped. So it's much easier just to add drop-down menus. You can also add photos. If we click add photo and scroll down, again, this is taking me to my documents. If we're using this on a phone or an iPad, like at a property, then it takes us to our camera roll. I think images are the most important thing to add, because if a dispute does arise, then it's less down to an individual's opinion. So make sure that you're taking images of everything. There's also the option to add meter readings and keys. And meter readings are very important as they ensure that the landlord doesn't get any unexpected bills and that the tenant pays exactly the amount that they should. With keys, it ensures that we have a record of who has access to the property, which is very important for obvious reasons. And it also gives you a record of whether or not the tenant has returned them all as well. Let's add a new entry. You'll notice that the existing rooms pop up here, so it's not as if we've got to scroll through this big list and find them all again. We can just select bathroom, and I'm going to add a sink. I'll say it's in good condition, with no damage. Damage type not applicable. And again, we can just add all these extra details. Chrome finish to the taps, and single sink. So once we've done that, we again click save. And let's add another image. Again, this is taking me to my documents. If you're using this whilst you're doing an actual inventory, obviously you'd be using an iPad or a phone. So obviously it's going to take you to your camera roll. Once we see the green tick, we know that it's uploaded, so we can click close. So now we know the basics of adding an item. What I'm going to show you now is a much quicker way to do an inventory. So let's go back out of that and onto inventories page. Let's create a new one. We'll do it for the same property. Again, let's do a check-in. This time I'm going to use a template. Now what this does is basically add all the rooms that would commonly be found within these templates. So you can see we've got a big comprehensive list of properties. Obviously, if you've got a property which isn't included, you can add your own, which I'll show you how to do soon. Let's click save and go into the report. So we can see that it's added a bathroom, 2 bedrooms, a dining room, hallway, kitchen, living room, and a front and back garden. But not only that, it's also added the items that would commonly be found within those rooms. So like the doors, floors, ceilings. If we go to the bathroom, it's added a bath and a toilet as well. So all we have to do now is add all the items which may not be included in the template, as well as the conditions and the images. Obviously, the more expensive the deposit, then the more likely you are to go into detail in the inventory. Because if it's a £300 deposit, then it won't really be worth spending hours of time, which again, you've got to pay for. Whereas if it's a more expensive deposit, like £3,000, then you can afford to spend much more time writing the inventory. So let's say that the tenant's lived in the property for 6 months now, and you're going to want to do a midterm inspection. Now again, you could start an inventory from scratch, but I'm going to take advantage of duplication. So if we look in this grey box on the top left and click duplicate inventory, we have the option to duplicate the entries, the variation options, photos and the keys. So I'm going to leave it how it is, except I'm going to change the report type to a interim. Let's click duplicate. And what this basically does, again, is create an exact replica of the report we were just on. And if we go into it now, we can see it's done exactly that. So let's say another 6 months has passed and we want to do a checkout report now. So again, it's exactly the same as what we've just done. We just have to do a duplicate inventory and turn the inventory type to a checkout. Now, once we've completed the reports, we of course need a PDF a PDF report of it. And this shows us everything that's been recorded in the inventory. So if we click on inventories and we would click this green button on the left, and this will take us to this page. So we can see we have the location and a picture of the property. We've got the terms and conditions. If we scroll further down, we come to the meter readings. You can also see a list of the keys there. And now I've come to the items. So if it's red, that signifies that it's in poor or bad condition, whereas in green, it's in perfect or good condition. Obviously, we've got the images on the right. Let's scroll a bit faster now and go to the very bottom. We come to all the photos, so we can see that they're numbered. Makes it a lot easier for referencing. And finally, we're going to come to comparison reports. So here's a good example of the meter readings. At the beginning of the tenancy, the gas reading was 1,000, and at the checkout, it's 3,000. Now that we've come to the items, we have a list of the rooms, and then within those rooms, we have the items that have changed condition. So in the bathroom, the toilet was in perfect condition, and now due to deterioration, it's in poor condition. Let's scroll further down. And we can see some more examples of this in the kitchen and in the back garden. We can see the lawn has deteriorated. Okay, thanks for listening. I hope all that made sense. Again, this is recorded, so you will be able to watch it again. The coupon code that I mentioned earlier is HQ2 months, and that's going to give you 2 months half price use of LettingCheck. If you need any help at all, drop me an email, simeon@lettinghq.com, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thanks for listening, and I will see you again soon.